Hello everyone, it's Mish here and welcome to my channel. If you're new, thank you for stopping by. And if you are one of my returning crafty friends and kindred spirits, then I thank you so much for hanging out today. Today's going to be another page in the Daphne's Diary, Gluebook, journal, collage, whatever you want to call it, interactive journal where we take images from Daphne's diary and we create some lovely little pages and projects. So every page that you're seeing here is in my playlist Daphne's diary. So I would encourage you to check them out as we've had some fun along the way. A little guy, I noticed last time that he's sticking a bit. Oh, excuse me. All of a sudden got a dry spot in my throat. So yeah, so this is the first journal that we did. So those of you who have been following me since the beginning have already seen this many times because I like to show it at the beginning. And then we created volume 2. And volume 2, with this one here, I created more kind of double spreads, and I'm really enjoying the double spreads. And one of my favorites, I think. Oh, and there's the little girls, the little pop-ups, little journal cards, tuck spots, another little different type of pop-up with the hot air balloon that we had, and just some really interesting. Here's the little sewing kit. Oops, lost the little thing on that side. Our little teapot with our little tea bag inside with our closure here. And I love this double spread. I love that one. I love this one. I think it's one of my favorite ones. And we just did some, I love this one too. Sometimes I can't choose. I think, oh, that's my favorite, and then I look at something else and think, oh no, that's my favorite. Now this one here, we did a bunch of tags with that, but I've taken the tags out so that I can get on to today's spread. And then here's the last one. So today I have already cut out my background. I do have a template that I can put in the magazine to see how an image is going to look, and put that aside. So I'm not exactly sure where this is going to go. I was thinking that it might go maybe here. I'm not sure. But I'm just going to set the actual journal aside for a second. And the issue that I'm using is issue 1. Okay, so I know a lot of you still haven't got number 2. But I did take all of the images for today's layout from this one, this issue. So, I've already cut things out, but I have cut out this princess. I'm calling her Princess. And she came, I don't even know if I'm going to find the pages. Yeah, she came from page, it must have been 60, page 60. She was in there. And then this little thing that I'm going to use, which is kind of, I don't know, just a little bottom decorative. Then on the same page that she was, on page, what did I say? Page 60. Around her, so she was like this in the layout. And up in the top borders of this page were these little decorative little drawings, which I fussy cut out. But then I decided I'm not really sure if I'm going to use that. But so I have fussy cutted them out. If you're not into fussy cutting and you can draw, then you could draw that. I also, on one of the pages, I found this thistle, which I think we're going to use for this. And then I just found some various, there's some branches. I'm just going to move this because it's all in there. There's some branches, some fruit, there wasn't a lot of flowers and stuff, so I had to change my thinking because you know that I like my flowers. Now, one thing I wasn't in the book that I found on my desk was this little butterfly. So it was from a previous project that I cut out with my punch. And I thought, well, I can't leave him. So then she looked kind of, when I had it all together, she just looked kind of lonely. So then I found this little squirrel, and I was thinking that she's going to have a little squirrel friend, maybe sitting just on the bottom or something. So I'm just going to start by getting down this bottom border. I don't know how much I need. From there over to about there. Okay. Today is Sunday, and this will come out on Friday. So it is Sunday, maybe April 27th. When I woke up, it was a lovely pouring rain day. And I got up and I started planning for this. So I went to the magazine and started to do a bit of fussy cutting and stuff. Then I went over to Superstore to get some fruit for the week, and Chester needed some litter. I'm trying to change up his litter because I use Arm & Hammer unscented stuff, but it's been really good. I have a scent type allergy, and but the last couple boxes I've got have been really dusty. So I'm trying to find an alternative that's clumping, unscented, and not that dusty. So I'm thinking that's going to go there. So anyways, I've found this brand I'm going to try. I'm not into those litter color changing stuff. You know, it's just, I think that's just a worry. If Chester starts to feel unwell, then I'll definitely take him to get looked at. But he's a good little buddy. So I'm thinking maybe like that. And then, but her dress is going to hide some of that. So let's lift this up a little bit. What I could do, I think. Now this is just glossy. And there really isn't anything I'm going to be putting that's dimensional this time, I don't think. We are going to be doing a bunch of decorating on her, but we're going to elevate our collage. So I'm thinking we'll just tack her in the middle and then get her down the rest of the way later. And then that will help us with our placement of all our border stuff. So let's just try there. Is she straight? I gotta get in a glare there. Okay, and then her little squirrel friend can maybe go right there. Right, so where'd this go? So, put a little bit more glue on there. So anyways, I found some litter that we're going to try. And we'll see what happens. For sure. Okay. So I'm kind of liking that. So it's kind of like that's growing up from there. And then I was kind of thinking to have the fruit just kind of coming out of the side of the page, like it's growing from the side. And then there's some grapes. I don't know, when I think of royalty, sometimes I think of this kind of grapes. I think maybe because you see it a lot in like drawings and stuff. And then I had this little branch to kind of go, it's a different type of leaf, but maybe to go up underneath that. Kind of something like that. Because, and then these I think were just, I didn't think they kind of helped the image. And then with her crown, I was thinking maybe something like that. Maybe a little something like that, I'm not sure. But we're going to get this foliage down. Now what I often do, which I did not do this time, is if I'm fussy cutting out a delicate item like this, I will first use Scotch tape on the back. And that just helps give it a little bit of strength, so that I don't just cut it off. Okay, so I'm thinking that's going to work. And then we'll get this. Now, people often ask about how I cut out my images and fussy cut stuff. And I'll tell you that for a lot of images, I will use my cutting mat, this cutting mat, and my precision knife. So then I'll just go and kind of cut it out and sometimes get as close as I can without actually cutting the image. And then I finish cutting it with my scissors. So I have a couple pair of scissors. These are just ones I got at the dollar store, and they're pretty good. If I want to get right in, I have these little nippers that can kind of get and do little fine things. And those are basically scissors that I use for my fussy cutting. All right, so I'm thinking maybe something like that. Or should this come down just a little bit? I think this should come down a little bit. A little bit like that. And then it kind of, yeah, I kind of like that. So let's get this down. For sure. I hope well, today's Friday when you're seeing this. This one comes out on a Friday, so I hope your Friday is going well. For sure, and you've had a good week. Now I'm a nurse, so I'm so used to working shift work, but now, I am management, so I'm not on the front lines at all. One of my favorite nursing that I did was, I've been a cardiovascular nurse, so I would take care of people after they've had like open heart surgery and things to do with their aorta, like a AAA repair, stuff like that. People who have almost technically like a mechanical heart. So it's been an interesting go of it. But with my arthritis and stuff, unfortunately, I can't do what I used to do. So I'm very thankful for my job now. Very, very thankful. But I work Monday to Friday now. So, whereas the weekend never really meant a weekend, as in sometimes my weekends were Wednesday, Thursday or something. But now Saturday and Sunday is my weekend. Okay, so that's looking, I'm kind of liking how she's turning out. I don't think there's anything else I want to put behind her now. So we can get, I don't want to put a lot of this because it's going to warp my paper. So I can use Fabri-Tac, which is what I'm going to do because I need to get Fabri-Tac anyway. Unless, no, I think she's stuck now. I need Fabri-Tac because the next thing I'm going to do is, let's move that out of the way so I don't lose it, a little butterfly, is I was thinking, okay, how am I going to elevate this lady? Because she definitely needs to be elevated. So I went to my ribbons and stuff for inspiration. And that's when I found something I bought a long time ago. This Fabri-Tac, I don't use Fabri-Tac a lot, and it tends to get thick on me because I don't use it as much as just my Elmer's glue. Okay, so I went to my ribbon stash and I found this that I picked up. Well, I didn't pick it up at Michael's. I believe I picked it up at Atlantic Fabrics. And I thought she deserves to have this bling. So I was thinking that I'm going to put this at the bottom. Oops. My camera's different today too. Everything seems to be. Well, what if I... Hang on a sec. I don't want to make you guys seasick. Oop. There, that might be better. Okay, then I can pull this down more towards me. Yeah, that's better. Right, so I wanted to just add some texture to this because I felt this page was about her dress, material, texture. So I wanted to add a little bit of texture. So I thought that I would do that. So I'm just going to get this down here. And then one day I was at Michael's. You hear me talk about Michael's a lot because here in Halifax, I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia, we don't have Hobby Lobby, Joann's, anything like that. We just really have Michael's. And then there's a scrapbooking craft store in Windsor called My Stamping Studio. And I go up there sometimes, but it's about, well, it's a little bit of a drive. It's not quite an hour. Okay, so let's cut this off if I can. And I can trim that up after. Does that look straight? See, doesn't that look rich? Go to your stash. Okay, so when I was at Michael's, I was down one day looking in the sticker aisle, and I just saw this hanging on a peg, and it wasn't very much, and I thought one day I'm going to use that. So today's the day, because I kind of thought that would look lovely to elevate her dress a bit. So I'm thinking that I want to put that going down to there. So I'm going to go right to here. Okay, and then, perfect. And then her hands there. Let's see if I can get this off. Might have to use the tweezers. It is adhesive backed. Oh, it's because of all this rain, I think. I don't know, but it could be also because of the crocheting. My arthritis is really bothering me. Okay, so I'm going to put that right down into the groove of her hands and then stretch it right up to there. Okay, and then I'm going to make it start again, and it's going to go right to there. So, and I've often looked at this because I've had it for quite a long time, and I just haven't found the right project until today. And it's just a matter of getting that started. There we go. So let's get this off. And let's get this. Sorry if my head gets in the way. Get it off the tweezer. There we go. Because she's got, like, in this dress, there's this front piece of material. Like there. And then it goes right down to the tip of her front piece. See? Isn't that rich? I'd love that. Okay, so then, I don't think I need the Fabri-Tac anymore. So then I just went to my stash of gems. Oops. And thought, okay, what can we do with these? So I found this thing that was an old K&C company. We used to get a lot of K&C company at Michael's, but we don't much anymore. So I'm going to put this here, and I do have a saying. I think the saying's going to go either across there or down there. I'm not sure. I'll get to the saying in a minute. So this, I kind of felt would look good there. Just as a, kind of there maybe. So I'm going to get this down because she certainly is enchanting. And I'm thinking maybe right there. So then with the crown, like there, I was thinking one of these would go right where would go right there, right in there. And I think that is the perfect shape. Just need to get it over a little bit. There we go. And then for underneath, I was thinking of one of these, thinking of that one right here. And I need my pick tool for there. I like that. So then I was thinking for the grapes, just going to get my picky tool if I can find it. There it is. So then for the grape part of it, now I'm just going to move it down for a second. I thought about using just some little random ones of these. And just putting them randomly throughout the grapes. Like so. And these little ones here, I just picked up at the dollar store. So then we just have some little bling when the page is kind of turned that way. And then for her necklace, now I have these things. They were called body jewels. And I think at one time I got them at the dollar store. You may still be able to get them, I'm not sure. But you put them on like underneath your eyes or something, on your wherever. So I'm thinking that this might work as her necklace. I'm just going to need to cut off that very last, this one here. I have to cut off that very last gem to make that fit where I want it to go. So then pull this off. And I can put that, kind of move it this way. And actually I need to cut off the very last gem. And we will just put that very last gem just somewhere here to make it glitter. Okay, so we've got that. So what else did I think? And those were part of those gems. Now one of my favorites are the Spellbinders. However, she's also got a crown on her head. Well, it's not really a crown, but we're really setting her up for blinging. But I've got these snowflakes things, and again, I'm thinking that this could be part of her crown, and that it could be like that. And then if you wanted to, if you had a bunch of little tiny little gems, you could make it go there, but so then that just goes bling bling that way. So that's how we can use our snowflakes now that winter's over. And then I had this little guy, little squirrel, our little squirrel friend. And you can hardly see him there. But I like him nestled right there. Now I could put a little something behind him to make him stand out. But you know what? I don't think I am. And the reason being is because he's a bit of a camouflage. He doesn't really want many people to know that he's there. Which means that I need to put my saying down there. So the saying that I chose was, I wanted something about, I don't know, magic, enchantment, something like that. And there was one here that those who don't believe in magic will never find it. So we all have to believe in magic, whether it's magic as a result of a miracle or however whatever you believe, there's always magic. And then maybe I'll put one of these little ones, or do I want to do one of my spellbinders? I'm gonna have to order a new one of these cards. So I'm just gonna use, I think I'll use this size, especially because I've got a few of them. Oops, where'd it go? I'm gonna just put that at the end there and one at the beginning over here. So it kind of highlights this, or kind of bookends this, like so. Yeah, and then, well, what else could we do? We got to have our little butterfly friend here. So with our little butterfly friend, I thought he could just go right there. He's made out of that mirror foil. And then I had pulled out these, which I've had for a long time. I think I got these in the UK, and they came as one of those long sheets, but I've never really used them. And I was looking at these little diamonds, and I was thinking, like, I don't know, I just kind of think about, like when I think about diamonds, I think, I don't know, cards, I guess. The Queen of Diamonds. I'm going to move that little gem to down here. That little gem that dropped off, I'm going to use it to dot the eye. If I can get it off my finger. Right there. That's where I want it to go. Oh, I'm just going to leave it. If I can catch it at some point, I'm going to put it on there and get it to stay there. Like so. There, dotting that eye. So I just thought this would look cute to use some of these just as an enhancement of the page. And then maybe one up here at the top, like there. And then maybe one over here. Just a random thing. And one, maybe, I think that's probably enough, but I got this one here that's stuck. Maybe right there, alongside her dress. All right, well, I think that's probably our page then. And if we get our book back, and I think that turned out pretty good. Yeah, so if we get our book back, I was kind of thinking that I wanted it, initially I wanted to just do that page, but I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it should go there. So the other place I was thinking was right here. So I think that's where she's going to go. All right, so I'm going to fit that in. I don't think you want to watch me just fasten that in. Just need to do that. So I'm just going to fix this probably with some Fabri-Tac and get that down. So I thank you so much for joining me today. If you are new to my channel, I am doing a sort of a collage challenge. If you're interested in that, you can email me at mishcrafty8664@gmail.com. And we also have a Facebook group at Mish Crafty Community. So if you're interested in that, I'd like to say you're welcome. And if you haven't subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe and give me a like. I do hope until we meet again that you do stay safe and well, and bye for now.